Hey, what's up? Welcome everybody to the Switch Bit. This is my 150 sub special Q&A deal. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has followed or commented, like on Twitter or YouTube, Instagram, anything that I'm on. I really, really appreciate it. The 150 subs on YouTube, especially, we're pretty far away from the first year. That's kind of that's a big deal to me. I didn't think I'd get 100 subs. Honestly, I didn't think anybody really cared about what I had to say about the music I was going to be making or my video game collection or whatever. So just to find that community and to find people who are willing to listen and actually care what I'm doing, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So this particular video, we are going to start with the Q&A that I put out on Twitter. So I got a few good questions. I haven't really thought about them too much. I just kind of looked at them and passed right on by. That way, whenever I discuss it, it's going to be, fresh off of my mind. It's not something I've thought about or tried to recite or anything like that. And then followed by, we're going to be doing a little bit of what my plans are moving forward, because I do have some certain plans, and hopefully I can take it there and y'all can enjoy the ride with me. So kick back, relax, and let's get this going. All right, we got a few good questions here, so I'm just going to go through these. This is all from Twitter. Hold on, I'm going to drop the brightness down. I'm reading it off my phone. All right, first question. First, that's actually two questions from Moses Bolin. That's at Moses_Bolin. What is your favorite Switch game? And what is the first game you ever played? So, my favorite Switch game is really, really tough for me. It's either going to be Breath of the Wild or Xenoblade 2. I just recently started playing Breath of the Wild again. Uh, but Xenoblade 2 really hit. It had the story, it had the really great combat in the world, the RPG, the skill levels, all that kind of stuff that I really like in gaming. Breath of the Wild was amazing, absolutely amazing. But Xenoblade 2, with its story, I think, took it to the next level. There's just so much to do in that game. Yeah, that's going to be my number one game for Switch. Those are hard questions because you might ask me that next week, and I maybe I'm just feeling a little bit different, and I'm going to say something different. But I think consistently, Xenoblade 2 will be my answer. I hope. And then, what's the first game you ever played? It was called Moon Patrol for the Atari. I remember it pretty vividly. I was 5 years old, and my brother, I don't know how he got it, my oldest brother, brought home an Atari with Moon Patrol. And I remember playing it on like a 13-inch TV. It was, I mean, you just hop over craters and stuff on the moon, I think, if I recall correctly. But yeah, from then on, I was in, like, jumping straight in to every video game. I mean, that I could get my hands onto. Every time we walked by a kiosk at Sears or whatever, with the family, I'd stop and play every video game until I had my own system. So yeah, that game really had an impact on me, just being able to play it. I think there's an arcade version of it, so I would like to one day be able to actually have that, the first game I ever played as an arcade in my game room. But as you can see right now, my game room has completely changed. So I'll get into that a little bit later. Why? This used to be covered in games back there. So a lot of things going on in my life right now. All right, let's move on to some more questions here. All right, Black Ass Gamer. He says, is there a video game character you ever had a crush on as a child? And no, I don't. I never really. No. The only fictional character I ever had a crush on was when I was really little. Was the mouse from Chippendale Rescue Rangers? I think her name's Gadget or something. Yeah. But as far as video game characters, no. I typically don't get too emotionally attached or attached to characters much in games. I don't know why. It's really hard for me to. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are, attractive or whatever, but I've never actually had a video game crush. All right. Bubbly Zen. Where do you get your musical inspiration? It's a lot of things. I listen to all kinds of music, honestly. I mean, if you look at my playlist, it's like 90s pop, dance music, country, Garth Brooks. But as far as my music, obviously it's rap or hip hop or whatever you want to call it. Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park, like his solo stuff, Fort Minor, and his recent solo album. I like his stuff's kind of like poetry, and I've always done poetry and stuff like that. So I've always kind of had I guess, an inspirational uh, aspiration to do something like that on that level. And then as far as kind of like more well-known hip-hop artists, obviously Eminem, he's a great lyricist, but Chamillionaire, I really, really like Chamillionaire. I'm from Texas, and he was big down here even before he came out with that Riding song, Riding Dirty. But he tells stories very well, and that's kind of what I like to do. I want to paint a picture. I don't want, what I say to be meaningless words. I want every line or, every bar to have some type of meaning to what I'm saying. So he's probably my biggest inspiration. Also from Bubbly Zen, do you and your partner game together? Not very often, but I will say we just went and played Pokemon Go and Wizards Unite together downtown for like 2 hours. That's probably the most we've ever gamed together. As far as like Switch or video games here at the house, we play Yoshi Crafted World together a little bit. That's a lot of fun. We've played Snipper Clips and Overcooked, and we we get kind of frustrated, yeah, as most people do. That's a game that those are games you got to communicate very well, and yeah, it gets heated. So we play that for an hour or two at a time, as long as we can stand each other, while we're playing it. And then we've been playing a couple games that I've talked about, like on Twitter, and that I've reviewed. One's called Ding Dong XL. We'll go back and forth. It's a real simple game. Anybody can pick up and play. And she's not a huge gamer, so that speaks a lot to her. If it's just like a one button game, and she's actually pretty good at it. She's better than my buddy Colt, but he only played it for a couple minutes. But yeah, she's pretty good at that game. So I would like to play more. Like, she's not really had an interest in playing Mario Kart or Smash Brothers or anything like that, but hopefully, we can just ease her into it. But she's all cool with the game, and just not a big gamer herself. And then last question from Bubbly Zen: how do you balance work and home life with creating content? And I don't think I do a very good job at this, honestly. When I first started this channel, it was in September, last September, and it was like one video a month. And I was just doing the Hunting Them Games videos. That's how this all started. And I realized I have to have more content if I want people to watch it. I got to put stuff out kind of regularly, but it's hard. I don't have a schedule. I'm trying to have a schedule, but it's tough. We got a 2-year-old. I work quite a bit. She works quite a bit, and I just got to cram it in wherever I can. I wish I had a better answer on that one, but I feel like I'm really failing at that. And I don't know, people who have full-time jobs and life and commitments, if they stream or they come out with videos all the time, I don't know how they do it. Kudos to them. It's really tough, and I hope to get better at it. All right, Keith, a.k.a. Idiot. Gorilla versus a shark. That's his question. I guess it depends if it's in the water or not. I think a gorilla, those things are beasts. They can jump. They're fast. A shark has to be in the water, and it doesn't have arms or anything. I think even if a shark latched onto a gorilla, the gorilla's just going to rip it in half. That's all based on no information. I don't know. But I'm going to go gorilla. What do y'all think? Okay, Absolute Katie. She says 3 questions as well. What is your name? My name is Sam. What is your quest? And I'm guessing she means quest by like, what do I plan to kind of get out of the YouTube thing quest? I'll answer it both ways, like personally and like hobby-wise. Honestly, I just want to make content that I enjoy making. I want to have a creative outlet, and that's kind of what the music thing is. I just started doing the music thing in January, so it's just 6 months ago. But that's been a really good creative outlet for me. I practice or, just kind of come up with stuff on my commute to work. It's like 30 minutes to work-ish. And that's where I do my creative thinking. It keeps me occupied. So I just want to get my creative content out there. If people want to listen, that's awesome. Otherwise, just the whole process. I don't actually have any kind of like end goal people have on a quest or anything like that. I'm not trying to like make money or whatever, but yeah, I just want to have a creative outlet. As far as like personally, I want to get married to my girlfriend. I want to make a difference. I think that's what most people want to do. Yeah, I had a complete change in my life about 7 or 8 years ago, and I changed my whole like trajectory. Went from doing like middle management office type jobs to now doing like physical therapy. So, because I wanted something rewarding and fulfilling where I can actually have an impact on people's lives. So from a personal kind of quest standpoint, that's it. I just want to hopefully, when I'm not here anymore, there are some people who would have benefited from me somehow and lived a better life because of something I did or said, or I don't know. Hopefully. And what's your favorite movie about video games? Okay, so this could be, is it favorite video game movie or favorite movie about video games? Because if it's my favorite movie about video games, then it's The Wizard when I was little. Oh my gosh, I love that game. If it's my favorite video game movie, there's some stinkers, aren't there? I don't know. I haven't liked most of them. The original Resident Evil was really cool. I think that was like, and the second Resident Evil as well. It actually took stuff from the video games, but that whole series had such a weird departure from the actual video game series. Yeah, that's a tough one. I say my least favorite's Mario Brothers, but that's everybody's least favorite. Number one, probably Prince of Persia. I like that movie a lot. The one with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. That was a cool movie. It didn't have a ton to do with Prince of Persia. I don't feel like it could have been adapted from a lot of different things, but man, yeah, that was a cool movie. There's not a whole lot of good movies to choose from there, but One Up, Level Up Gaming. What is your favorite game of all time? Okay, so this is a tough question for anybody to answer. Now, there are games that have had really strong impacts on me, right? So we're talking about the original Super Mario Brothers and NES, or Mario Kart 64, or Super Mario 64, because that was game changing at the time. There's a lot of really good games. Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time. But my favorite game, period, ever is probably Final Fantasy 11. That's the game. I put more time into that game than I have any other game. If you haven't ever played it, it's an MMO. And at the time, like when it was at its peak popularity, there were tons of people playing it. Me and all my friends were playing it. I have memories from that game. Like, I cherish them. Like, I cherish memories from like my childhood, because that world to me was just, I was in it. I was immersed in it. Every day I got on and we're just like, where are we going to travel to? What are we going to do today? And so I remember things very vividly from that game. And I don't really have those kind of memories about just most games I play. But with that, the people I met, I friends that I met that I'm still friends with today, I met playing that game online, when I was in my early 20s. So yeah, that I still listen to the soundtrack. Almost every single day. If I'm cleaning the house or doing anything, I have the soundtrack playing through my TV. It's just, yeah, hardcore nostalgia there. So Final Fantasy 11 is probably my number one favorite game. The runner-up might be Phantasy Star Online. Same kind of thing. Those kind of games, those online games, are just awesome. And okay, so 2 more questions, and this is from Moses Bolin again. And these are the last 2 questions here. What made you want to start a gaming-based YouTube channel? It's something that I've kind of, not really. I didn't ever really want to do a YouTube channel. I wanted to do a podcast. I used to do a website called Downright Fierce 10 years ago. It got like 50,000 views in the first year, but then, life got in the way. I didn't really get into it. It wasn't a whole lot of super creative stuff. It's like reviews and news and stuff like that. But, I kind of always want to do a podcast, and I had this in the back of my mind. The Switch Bit was the name of the podcast that I wanted to do, and I set up a Twitter for it. In 2017, I think, and I just never followed through with it. But then I had a couple friends start YouTube channels, and one from Level 9, and then Backyard Basher 83. They're friends in real life that I've known a long time, and they both kind of started channels pretty close to each other, and they were like, "Hey, why don't you do this as well?" They were kind of, convinced me to do it. They're no longer making content. It didn't last very long. I think Backyard Basher, hopefully, he makes more content. I hope he gets everything squared away to where he can do that. because he's got a lot of really good opinions, and we talk a lot about games, and he's a very technically inclined individual. So hopefully he gets on there. If I ever do like continue with doing a podcast, I kind of dabbled in that a little bit since then, kind of seeing what it was like, the whole process and everything. I would like him to have it either be a regular or a co-host or something like that. But I still want to do the whole podcast thing. But yeah, so they started. I jumped on it, and then I realized, this is a really, really cool creative outlet and channel. So I decided just to keep on doing it, and here I am. And then last question, also from Moses Bolin. What was the game that forever changed your view on all other video games? And this is a hard one as well, because there are a lot of kind of like cliche answers you could do, like earlier, Super Mario Brothers. Wow, that was the first game. You could actually scroll left to right. Zelda was open world. Mario 64, that 3D. I mean, those are all really impactful things for me. But honestly, there's one game in particular that I remember playing that it blew my mind. I think I was 12 or 13. I was young. And it came out on the PlayStation 1. My brother got it. My brother's 7 years older than me. He brought home a PlayStation 1, and he brought home Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, which to this day is one of my favorite games ever. A very dark game about vampires and gothic lore and stuff like that. But what made me, I had mainly been a Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, a little bit of N64 up until that point. So it was a lot of, standard 16-bit stuff. The stories are, sometimes they can get deep, in Final Fantasy or whatever, but, most of them are just pick up and play kind of games or kid-oriented style games. But once I played that particular game, the cinematics, the storytelling, the voice acting, I realized that I could get this 40-hour drama, this dark thing that you can't get on TV, you can't get on movies, you can't get on a lot of other video games that I had played. Since then, that's kind of become the standard, is these huge epic narrative cinematic driven story pieces. But at that time I had never experienced anything like that. I mean, it blew my mind, and it really kind of opened my eyes to what is capable with the video game format. So yeah, Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain. If you haven't played it, it's on PS1 classics or whatever, I think via PS3. I don't know about PS4. I don't have one at the moment, but if you have an opportunity to play it, it's a really great game. It hasn't aged great, but I recommend that game to everybody. All right, cool. That's all the questions. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to do another one once I hit 500 subs. So, thank you so much for everybody who sent in those questions. And now just kind of talk a little bit about kind of what I'm going to do moving forward. Now, obviously, I'm going to still be making music. My plan-ish is to have a new song every month, because it takes me a while. Talking about that question Bubbly Zen had about balancing, sometimes I'll have the idea for a song, and then I'll drop a hook, or I'll have an idea for some of the lyrics, and I'm listening to the beat on the way to work, on my lunch break or whatever. But it doesn't actually come into full form until 2 weeks in or something like that, because I'm just kind of dabbling with 2 or 3 songs at any given time. Then once I feel like it's actually hit a good stride, then I'll kind of go in serious and go and do some editing and doing the voice work and doing all the editing. I use Audacity, which I know isn't the best, but anyways, I plan to have one song. There's a collab video, and if you're watching this and you're part of that collab video, I am so sorry it's taken so long to get going. But there's a collab video for that Ride or Die Switch song that I not my most recent song, but the one right before that. I injured my back at work, and then we had to move everything out of our house. Hence, no games in this room at all, because we were actually put a bid in to buy another house. Unfortunately, we decided not to do that, moving in that particular house. So everything right now is in a little bit of a limbo. So things should get back to normal. So I will be editing that video very soon. So if you're waiting on that collab video, we got I think I got 15 or something people from Twitter, YouTube who are going to be in this music video. I just got to edit it all together, and my life's just been a little bit crazy right now, but I'm going to get to that. As far as the other content goes, I'm going to try to have 2 videos a week. So I'm gonna continue to do Hunt Them Games the first of every month. We got an episode coming out tomorrow as I'm taping this, but it'll be a couple days ago once it actually comes out on my channel. And I'm gonna try to do a review every week. I mean, I play enough games that I have the content there. It's just really getting it down and actually doing it. So I'm gonna try to get a review a week, Hunt Them Games every month, a new song every month, and then little pieces that I do here and there, just whenever I get the inspiration. So that's my plan moving forward. Hopefully you guys continue to support me, continue to sub. If I put something out on Twitter, that's mainly what I use. I appreciate all those retweets and comments and love that I get. So thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully I will see you soon. Happy hunting, everybody.